All right. Well,
Hey.
go figure it out. After talking about Black Hat for the past 2 months, excited to be here, and I run into a lot of people that I know, Sean as well, but I kick him out today. He's not part of the conversation because there is enough to talk about here and enough to be excited here at Black Hat 2025 because I ran into Deidre, which is someone I've known for, I don't know now, 12 years at least.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen each other in a while.
Too long.
So that's the beauty of these events, is to find out what is going on in the industry, to find out what is going on in the future, because we talk about the future a lot, but also to reconnect. So It's so good to see you, and I know you brought a friend.
I did.
You.
A friend that I met at a conference.
There you go.
This is how it goes.
That's how it
Yes,
goes.
good to see you.
Sometimes, and sometimes just a chat in the corridor or at the booth or whomever, you speak a lot to as well, sessions.
Yeah.
But then you start talking, somebody has a need, somebody has a solution, and we start working together.
Yeah.
So quickly, before we go to him, a little bit about yourself.
Yeah.
And then,
Sure. Yeah. Well, you hit the nail on the head. It's 11 years to CyberSN this September. Started in the talent matching business for the first 8 years, cyber taxonomy, job matching, and then that really brought us super close to the major vulnerability we have, which is the risk of our workforce, our retention issues, our burnout issues, our capability gap issues, our career planning, issues. And so 3 years ago, CyberSN started a workforce risk management practice. And that's actually, Carraig and I met having a discussion at RSA, 2 years ago.
2 RSAs ago.
Yes, and so the last 3 years, that practice has blossomed into extreme value, and it's getting the word out. It's happening as we speak.
Yeah, I love it. And in this industry, if there is something that we know is the change, is the only constant, and it's fast change.
Yes.
So even to find the right people to work with is not an easy task.
Yeah, that alone is not easy. Knowing what your cyber capabilities are and your gaps are is not easy, especially as people come and go, and how do you keep up with it? Even if you know it today, how do you know it tomorrow when people are coming and going? So there's a lot on the people side that we just, as a community, haven't been focusing on, and so it feels really good to not only be focusing on it, but to have a Fortune 200 CISO, now CEO, not only embrace the service and the software program, have success. It feels good in a day and age where not a lot of positive stuff is around.
Yeah, we need that kind of positivity.
Yes.
So, a little bit about yourself. I know you come all the way from Kansas City, which is a beautiful place. And this relationship that you developed.
Sure, originally, my first part of my career, right, I started off in the intelligence world, working with people, doing human intelligence, but people were the core construct. And that really followed me into the cybersecurity industry as I built teams for different organizations, with government, startups, enterprise. The one core concept, and in fact, we were just talking earlier today, one of the big themes I've even heard here from some of the different leaders this week, if you get the people right, everything else comes together so much easier, right? But unfortunately, until you see the value of what it looks like to get people right, you don't necessarily understand that value, right? And so 2 years ago when we met at RSA, we were sitting there talking about people and the value of people, and she was talking about what they do with the workforce risk management. And what was your joke about me using Excel spreadsheets? I was I do.
You're like, I'm all set. I'm covered. I know how to do that. I do it really well. I come from. You told me your whole story.
I had a whole story.
And then I was like, so show me how you visualize and the data you use. And that's when we went deeper.
It's tough.
Where Excel spreadsheets, old data, lots of time of your time to get that right. And so that's where our relationship started, and then of course we geek out on this all the time because we both have had tremendous success of building workforces that are successful. Beyond that, to be able to help him, who's already focused on people,
Right.
do it
That's where I
even
wanted to
better.
go, actually.
Yes.
Because some people, they have a problem. I mean, we all have a problem, but sometimes we don't see the problem that we have.
Yeah.
And you need that advisor that
Yeah.
kind of can see things from the third party perspective, the third eye perspective. You, from what I understand, you were already on a mission to say, I gotta find a solution for finding better people.
To be honest, I thought I already had a solution.
Yeah.
I thought I was already ahead of the curve.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I was already meeting with my people. I was already doing specific surveys to track happiness and belonging in these things, because I wanted to make sure that we caught issues early, right? That we were tracking our team, because again, you get your team right, you can do anything. What I didn't realize is what I was missing. Right? So you bring a modern platform that has a taxonomy, so you can go and you can re-interview your people, like a recorder, for example. You can see that, you know what, hey, I hired him as an analyst, but why is he doing all this engineering work? Maybe he's better on the engineering team.
Right.
It basically took my really rudimentary stuff that I thought I was ahead of the game. And I was like, wow, like you can see it, you can move it around, it's pretty, but it gave me a level of visibility in my team, what they were doing, and what their time, how their time was being spent. At a quantitative level almost, there's no way for me to replicate.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that.
And
But
I
you mentioned the taxonomy.
Yeah.
I remember years ago that you're like,
Yeah.
I'm working on something pretty cool.
Yeah, we launched that our second year.
Yeah.
And it's the reason why we've been able to do talent matching with
Right.
5 people and you hire somebody. I mean, nobody has that.
Right.
You actually used us for staffing after we finished the workforce risk management. I remember the team filled your role within weeks. It was open for months and months. So that business line is heavily reliant on the taxonomy, and so is this business line, which is, as what Carraig was saying, is that, you know, the job description of our talent is old within weeks and within months from the day it's first created, if it was even created correctly at all.
That's a big one.
That's a big one too. And so we have, as a community, been making strategic planning for security, for budgets, and all of this off of core job descriptions and titles. And so just seeing your people as how they're being utilized today and being able to keep that updated in itself is game-changing to strategy. And I remember after our engagement, your ability to speak to the business and speak up was significantly impacted.
If you think about it, right, the common refrain that every cybersecurity team has is we don't have enough people, we don't have enough people, we don't have enough people.
Yeah, the famous gap in
How do you quantify that?
Yeah,
how do you quantify that and go to your leadership and say, you know what, here's why. How do you show the gaps and how you're not able to meet specific capability requirements or resourcing requirements? It's really hard to show that using really the lack of tools that you have right now in that space, right? It's very subjective, right? How do you capture what somebody's doing as part of their job to know whether or not you have enough support for specific aspects of your program?
Yeah.
Right now, it's really, really hard to do that. The cool part about the platform when we brought it in is you weren't able just to see that by the people. Like you can see the whole org chart from people. It's pretty, it was great, see what they're doing, lots of value. You can also just flip it, right? And you can see that same org chart from the capabilities perspective. Okay, so here's all the capabilities we need. How are they staffed? What are we missing? Right? How do we plan for the future as we grow? You know, maybe this capability isn't the most important right now, but we don't have anybody on it anyway. Maybe that's a plan for later, but it allows you to visualize it, move it around, play with the data, and there's nothing else out there that does
So
that.
it's something like a cross-reference.
Exactly.
Yeah, and imagine CIOs, CFOs, CEOs, like now they can understand what the security leader is dealing with in a way that is logical, not just a spreadsheet. And so getting budgets become a lot easier. You were able to build your team more.
It's easier to get budgets. It's easier to make a business case for where you're going as you grow.
Yeah.
And frankly, it's going kind of back to the first problem. It's easier to understand your team at a level that allows you to empower them, because you can see things that you otherwise would completely miss.
I loved that about working with you and hearing the feedback was, as somebody that's super already, you know, his people love him, he's got great relationships with all his leaders, that was very apparent. I remember you saying, wow, I didn't think the happiness survey would give me anything. It's not a survey as a digital survey, but it's a part of the conversation is when we're engaging each team member after we build how they're being utilized by their employer. It's then like, well, how do you like how you're being utilized? And with that information, you can really map in a better way and career plan with them. And I remember you being like, wow, I didn't expect to get much out of that portion of the service.
About that, yeah.
And what is the feedback that you've been getting from the people?
Yeah.
Because that's, again, you have a happy employees, he performs better, he's doing the job that is made to be doing, not just a title that, I'll apply for that because I make more money, but I don't know if that's going to last. Like, I mean, this is
something that unfortunately a lot of leaders miss. Right? Your staff, part of caring for them, part of investing in them, part of getting the ROI out of hiring them is to make sure that they're happy, because a happy employee, happy is maybe the wrong word. Happy is important, obviously, but one that feels like they're
fulfilled,
right?
Yeah.
Like they have a purpose.
Yes.
And
that's the
so
word.
if you have an employee and you know where they want to go, you know how they feel about the team, you get that all this extra data, your ability to craft development plans, your ability to help them, move, change parts of the team, the ability to help career plan becomes so just nailed in that they can't help but really feel that you see them in a way that you normally historically couldn't see them as well.
Yeah, and therefore they're super appreciative.
Yeah.
Your team, I think, when you were leaving, make sure CyberSN, renewal happens. That was their request. He's recently left his organization to become a CEO, and that was their request. And so to your answer, these employees, I like to call us teammates, now feel like, wow, they're investing in understanding more and planning more, and so it just adds to professional efficacy.
Yeah.
And so career planning was a great result. You made some good moves.
Yeah, and I'm assuming also when you look at the psychology, like the connection with the business, with the other people, with the team, obviously it's not just about, I'm good at what I do because I have the skills to do it, technical knowledge, all of that, but actually, are you good at doing it because yes, you're fulfilled, but are you also good at doing it because you work well with your team?
Right.
So my point is, when you look at all the data that you can collect from the person looking for the job to the perfect match, how important it is, the psychology of,
Yeah, and it's easier once somebody's done this workforce risk work and has a program to just know what they need. It's so hard for these security leaders who are running 1,000,000 miles an hour, putting the wings on as they run, and then, oh shit, there's somebody left, and okay, well, we need to get that title of a person, and they don't really have the insight to really what's going on in their whole org such that they can actually hire the person that they need.
Well, I was going to say, that's a big part of it, because you look at the general job descriptions out there, and they're generally fixing, square peg, round hole, right? You just go and Google, security analyst job description, and people hire for it, but they come in and maybe they're doing something different. Maybe they're doing vulnerability management or something else, because you have gaps that you need to fill.
Yeah.
Right? When you know what gaps you have to fill, and you're able to have a ready taxonomy ready to go, you can effectively build that custom job description for the role that you need. So you have that proper expectation management.
Yeah.
If you hire somebody under your team, they're coming in with one thought. Here's what I'm going to do. They show up, and you're like, I actually need you to do this, but I didn't have that ability to really, document that as part of the job description. Now you have the ability to really customize and make it clear. Because that way, obviously you start off on the wrong foot. What's that old saying? It's easier to burn a bridge than to build one. Right?
You may be yourself the company hiring that actually wrote the wrong, let's say,
all the time,
descriptions for the job, and you really, like you say, you don't really know because it's not your job.
Right.
Your job is another.
It's reactive. We've been working in a reactive approach to people, and this is about being proactive.
Yeah.
And even if somebody quits, you really know your next move versus kind of thinking you just need this title of a person and you think you know the job. It's literally game-changing to feeding the brains of these brilliant leaders who have so much going on. They don't have the time. They don't have the time to sit and really think strategically about this job that they need filled.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to get everybody out of. Let's be proactive, no matter what's going on. You're going to have the right data to make really good decisions, and then of course the tools to go do what you need to do.
And what about the peace of mind and knowing that you have a partner, you have also a tool that it allows you to think like, I can grow my business, and I can find the people that I need. So kind of like, again, peace of mind for the future,
Yeah.
I mean, how does it project?
It does. I mean, of course, it positions us, well to service FTE, contract work, SOW work, meaning like, hey, you don't need an FTE for that. You should probably bring in a contractor for 6 months, get this done, and then bring in an FTE because then they'll have a career. Or you don't even want a contractor. You want this to be SOW because you want somebody else to watch it with you. You don't have enough time. So we'll give you this person to do this work, very measurable. And so yes, it really positions for this partnership of, wow, I can move operations, I can get to automation, I can get to repeatability because I'm being strategic, I'm being proactive, and it's not just FTE, contract, there's a purpose of when this person's done or what their next move is going to be within your organization. And that allows for people to operationally be efficient, which is what we're lacking. If we don't have retention and we have burnout, we're lacking operational efficiency, never mind professional efficacy.
Does it make you look at also the business in the operation in a way that maybe you haven't thought about before from the employees and workforce perspective? I mean, like maybe the approach to the way you run your business, knowing that you have a different approach in how you manage your team, does it make you see opportunities maybe where
it helps you understand the people, right? It's kind of like, if you think of your people as tools in a tool chest, right? And you hire somebody because they do X or they do Y, that's kind of the assumption that that's what they're good at, right? When you get to know them better, when you go through the taxonomies, when you figure out what they end up doing on the team, even if it wasn't what they were hired for because they happen to be good at it, right? You start realizing, you know what, these tools are multi-tools. And it allows you to have a much better plan for how you're going to leverage them throughout the organization, help them upskill, help them identify
and
those
hidden
traits and find those opportunities for them to maximize what they're able to, the value they're able to provide.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of calls coming from HR too, when unfortunately a lot of companies have been having to go with less. It's like they don't know who do you lay off? They're just picking based on titles. Meanwhile,
or tenure or something else that doesn't make any sense.
And they wish they had this kind of data.
Yeah,
and so it's also great nobody wants to do that, right? And so that's also the problem. You don't want to look
back and say, I'm going to hire again, I made a mistake.
Yes. So that's never going to happen again for anybody that's utilizing CyberSN. We're not going to randomly decide how to shrink or grow our teams. And it is random today. I shouldn't say random. It's the best information as we have at that time, and we know that information is poor.
The more you know, the better you can make your decision.
Yes.
So as we wrap this, I am happy that one of our first conversations here at Black Hat is actually not about AI.
Yes.
So, I had to say it for a second.
Yes.
But it's actually about people. It's not about the technology. It's about people. And with all the cybersecurity conference I've been on at this point, I've seen that switch from it's just technology, no, it's the human element, no, it's people at the center, even now in a world where we think AI is going to take over all the jobs and generative AI. Let's end with a sentence each with the value of people. That's what makes us human, right?
Yeah. I mean, all the research that I've been doing about what's going to happen with AI is leading me and lots of scholars to believe that emotional intelligence skills will be the most valued skill set because the work's being done for us, and now it's all about creative strategy, working with each other in a way that we're still not dealing with today because there's all these repeatable tasks that people have to do. So even though there isn't great communication skills, everybody's just dealing with each other. Well, now we're going to move into this age. We have to actually engage in a way that allows creativity to flow, or we won't win.
It's fascinating, AI has become such a gimmick. Right? AI, everybody has to say it because it's for their product, otherwise they're behind, right? And I think the new one's agentic AI, right?
Yes.
And there's some value when you look at the core concept. There's some value in a lot of these technologies. They're totally misused, in my opinion. But the core concept is really, they're all just statistical models of existing information, right? They're not creative. They're not thinking outside the box. They're not identifying new ways to do things. they're really finding, looking at the history of the knowledge that they have in their database to figure out, okay, based on this knowledge, what can I replicate to get this particular answer?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, what I'm excited about is, you're seeing some companies that are saying replace the human. You're seeing other companies that I think take maybe a smarter approach long term, and it's really more how do we empower the human,
Yes.
Empower,
right?
yes.
Yes.
How do we, I think bionic humans or bionic this or bionic that has kind of become a term that I've seen a few companies using here now. Not to replace them, not to create things that are completely autonomous per se, but rather how do we empower the people we have, allow them to do more with less, so that we can still focus on the people.
Yeah.
But instead of getting rid of them, we're putting that superhero costume on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wrote an article not too long ago about Asimov, when he was talking about the merging of the human with the robot or the AI, and it's this is what we use as technology. I think is part of our evolution.
Yeah.
And hopefully not regression, right?
I mean, I think there's a lot of things that are going to happen to employment that are not going to make any of us feel good.
Yeah.
And yet, at the end of the day, that is just another argument for how people have to be able to thinking about people in everything we're doing, because a lot of IP is at risk. And certainly it's going to be a while before there's any creative thinking with AI.
Yeah, for sure. I hope so.
I
mean,
hope
believe
forever,
it.
but
That's
I think it'll come.
All right, well, it was great to seeing you and chatting and to get to meet you. Thank you for your time. Great conversation.
Good to see
It's
you.
just the beginning, so we're going to do a lot more. Stay tuned with us on ITSP Magazine covering Black Hat 2025 right here in Las Vegas. Take care, everybody.
Bye. Awesome.